Good day, my friends. We live in a time when selfishness and lack of compassion seem to be rampant. Pope Francis talks about a globalization of indifference. If we are to build a just society, we need to reflect on Jesus' many parables in our scriptures that guide us as to how we can promote justice. In the second chapter of Pope Francis' latest encyclical, Fratelli Tutti, Fraternity and Social Friendship, he focused on the parable of the Good Samaritan. Read it. You know the story in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verses 25 to 37. A lawyer asked Jesus what he must do to gain eternal life. And Jesus replied, telling him, you know what the law states, that you must love God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And the lawyer then asked, but who is my neighbor? And then Jesus tells the parable of the Good Samaritan. Read the parable. It has a moral message for us today. What is that message? Here you have a priest and a Levite, two key people in the Jewish community, who passed on the other side when they saw a man who had been beaten and robbed by criminals, left lying, bleeding on the ground. In those days, remember that Samaritans and Jews weren't friendly with each other. But who was it who stopped to help the man who was bleeding on the ground? It's the Samaritan. The Samaritan showed Christ-like love and compassion. And the moral of the story is that we have to put aside all our indifferences and help those who are in need, who are suffering. The Samaritan didn't think about the race or religion of the man bleeding. He just saw somebody who needed help. Note that he did his charitable work not for fame, he did it quietly. Like the Good Samaritan, we must be moved to compassion when we see and know that there are many people in our communities who are in need of assistance. The Samaritan bandaged the wound of the man. He poured oil and wine on them, and that was expensive in those days. He lifted him on his own donkey, which meant he had to walk at the side. He took him to an inn and looked after him. And then the next day, he gave the innkeeper 2 denarii. 2 denarii was like 2 days' wages, and told him, use this to look after the man, and when on my way back, if you had spent more, I will give it to you. I'll make it up. Now Jesus asked the lawyer, who do you think was the person who proved that he was a neighbor? And of course the lawyer could only say the one who took pity on him. And Jesus then tells him, go and do the same yourself. We are called to love God and to love each other. To love not only our neighbors next to us, but to love all of humanity. So let us reflect on what each of us is doing to demonstrate our compassion and our love on a daily basis in our own homes and in our communities. This is a good time during this COVID-19 pandemic for us to reflect on that. There are many lonely people, there are many people depressed because they can't go out. Reach out and know who your neighbor is because you are Catholic. God bless us all.